Seychelles lets in everyone with the same $12 tourist visa, every country on Earth except one. Kosovo is the only passport they block, and it's purely because Seychelles doesn't recognize Kosovo's existence. Welcome to part 13 of exploring the Reciprocity Index. This is a metric I made of how many countries a nation lets in visa-free or with easy entry compared to how many places their own passport can go. The higher the score, the more welcoming the country is. The lower it is, the stricter their borders are. For anyone new here, these are welcoming maps, where green means visa-free, blue is visa on arrival, yellow is e-visa, and red means you need a visa ahead of time. First up is Mauritius with a score of 1.22. Mauritius has the second strongest passport in Africa and allows almost everyone in visa-free or with visa on arrival. The only countries they really block are those with active or recent civil conflict, high overstay risks, or strained diplomatic relations. Fiji has a score of 1.23. Tourism drives roughly 30% of their economy, and their map reflects it. They let in most of the richer countries visa-free, while most of Africa and the Middle East don't really get that access. Eswatini has a score of 1.26, and their map is pretty straightforward. It's mostly Europe, most of Southern Africa, and then a small mix of more established economies across the Americas, Asia, and Oceania. Seychelles has a score of 1.26. They have the best passport in Africa and one of the most funny, welcoming maps we'll see. As I said in the intro, they let in every single country under a tourist visa, which is roughly like a $12 fee, with one exception: Kosovo. Seychelles doesn't recognize Kosovo diplomatically, so it's the only country they don't admit. Nicaragua has a score of 1.28. They let in 82% of the world, and they're one of the most welcoming countries to Africa outside the continent, with most African nations getting a visa on arrival. Indonesia has a score of 1.31, and they seemingly handpick which countries get visa-free access. It's mostly their own region, plus Turkey, Colombia, Peru, Brazil, and Suriname. Everyone else gets a fairly broad e-visa. Before COVID, they welcomed 169 countries. That dropped to 0 during COVID and has only climbed back up to 98 so far. Kyrgyzstan has a score of 1.32. Most of their visa-free list is Europe and former USSR or USSR-aligned countries. The standout oddity is North Korea. This deal actually predates Kyrgyzstan's existence as a country, and it's kind of insane that they've kept it intact. Vanuatu has a score of 1.32. Their map is scattered and looks a lot like Fiji's. It's mostly countries that can realistically afford to travel to Vanuatu. They allow slightly more countries overall, with a few extra approvals in Africa and the Middle East. Kosovo has a score of 1.33, and their map is pretty standard, a typical mix of countries rich enough or established enough to travel to the region. It's a broad spread across Latin America, the Caribbean, a handful of African and Middle Eastern countries, and most of Southeast Asia. Next episode, I will be covering these countries, so make sure you're following so you don't miss out.